Good morning to those who listen. It's November 16th, 2025, 12:25 a.m. And this is part 3 of Genesis, the Bible changes or Bible Mandela effects. Going back to my notebook from 2020, we left off with Pilled, chapter 30. I got some doozies for you today. So Genesis 30:38. Gutters. 30:38. 30. Oh, it was part of the pilled. And he set the rods which he had pilled before the flocks in the gutters in the watering troughs. When the flocks came to drink, blah, blah, blah. All right, so looking it up, we see that gutter was first used in the 14th century. Gutters. Wow. All right, so most of these words did not exist back then for sure. And it definitely was no reason for that. They had water troughs. Why bother with that? Next, we got 30:34. Went backwards. Furniture. Here's a good one. Furniture. 30:31. What was it? 30? 34. And the band said, "Behold." 30:34. Am I on the right one? 30:34. Now it's not even there. It's gone. What? Hmm. 30:34. It's not there. Huh. Maybe this is one of those reversals. Now it's not even there at all. Not even a replacement. Might be. It doesn't even. I don't know. Maybe this one's just a mistake on my part. I don't know. Weird. Unless it's somewhere else and I just didn't see it. All right. We'll have to move on. Hotly. Genesis 30:36. 30:36. And oh my gosh, what is going on here? And he said, "It's not even in here." All right, that's two. That's two in a row now that doesn't exist in the Bible anymore. What? All right, so maybe I made one mistake. I doubt I would make two mistakes. But let's just look in here real fast because I remember seeing furniture in there. But now it's not there. 1542. Let's get rid of that one and then go to Hotly. Come on. No. Hotly. Oh, by the way, I'm using Merriam-Webster dictionary, but one of them didn't appear in this one and it appeared in a different one. So we'll get to that coming up. 12th century for hotly. All right, so next one. Stuff. Really? Stuff. 30:37. I got a bad feeling. It's not there. There's no way I made three mistakes. No way. Not unless I put the wrong chapter and verse. What? No way. That means it's been taken out again. Oh my goodness. Stuff was 14th century. And I haven't put 14th century. What is going on here? Okay, I'm figuring out what's going on here. So I put in there stuff in Bible. And it comes up with that verse, so I was right. No, it's 31. So it is 31. Okay, now let's look. Hold on. Okay, so I just had the wrong verse. I saw those words. All right, so it's chapter 31, not chapter 30. So let's go back to furniture. 31, 34. Now Rachel had taken the images and put them in the camel's furniture. What? All right, and hotly would be 36. And Jacob was wroth and chode with Laban, and Jacob answered and said to Laban, what is my trespass? What is my sin that thou hast so hotly pursued after me? That one, I don't know, but I thought it sounded funny. Okay, now we can find stuff. 31, 37. Whereas thou hast searched all my stuff, what hast thou found of all thy household stuff? And there was the next one too, household. So there's another one. And then the betwixt, top it off. Let's put 3 of them in there. All right, so now let's go back to household. Household was first used in the 14th century. So I doubt that would be way back in Genesis. All right, now we're getting into some interesting ones. Genesis 31:5, women servants. Now, it doesn't even exist in the dictionary, right? So, back then, back in 2020, it didn't exist. Okay, so it does not exist in the Merriam-Webster dictionary, or it doesn't come up. But I did find it in the Oxford English Dictionary. But it never occurred before. Woman servant. Oh, and this one was women servants. Let's go to it. 31:5. It was actually Genesis 32, verse 5. And I have oxen and asses, flocks, and men servants and women servants. So this one didn't even come up as women servants in the other dictionary. But supposedly it's so rare that it only happens 0.08 occurrences per million words. So to me, it's just weird. And so again, just to say, I'm not sure that all these are Bible changes, but they sounded funny to me. So back then, when I was reading something that didn't seem right, I would write it down and put it as possible Mandela effects. But let's do one more real fast. And then really, all the ones that are coming up are incredibly weird too. All right, obeisance doesn't appear in the dictionary. So back then, it did not. That's why I put stars by them, because I was like, wow, these words don't even exist. But now they do, suddenly. Okay, Genesis 36:7. 36:7. Actually, it was Genesis 37, verse 7. For behold, we are binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose. Which doesn't sound right either. Sheaf? I don't know, maybe, who knows. And also stood upright, and behold, your sheaves stood round about and made obeisance to my sheaf. Wow! So that sounds really, really goofy. So obeisance okay. So this first appeared in the 14th century, and it shares the same meaning as obedience. So I guess somehow in this meaning here, the sheaf. Wait, what is a sheaf? I always remember the hymn, bringing in the sheaves, bringing in the sheaves. So that didn't get me far, did it? Another term for sheaf, a bundle of grain. Okay, a bundle of grain stalks. Okay, makes sense, right? But does it make sense over here? So the sheaves were in the field, and the sheaf arose and stood upright. Oh, this thing's can stand. And behold, your sheaves stood round about it. So the other sheaves stood up and stood around it and was obedient to the sheaf. What? I'm sorry, this verse makes no sense. Behold, we were binding sheaves in the field. Okay, so they were binding up the grain stalks, tying them together. And lo, my sheaf arose. Come on. My sheaf. So there's one sheaf on its own and stood upright. And then the sheaf stood round about it and obeyed the first sheaf. Wow. All right. Let me know what you think about that. Interesting, though. Did they have sheaves way back in Genesis days? This one says before the 12th century. See, when it says before, you don't know the exact time period. But I would think it would have been in that general area. Otherwise, they would say, well, I mean, if it said before the 10th century, you'd say, okay, maybe it happened in the 900s somewhere, I don't know. Let me know what you think. I got a lot more to do here. All right, looking, Genesis is very long. So I still have 28 more examples in Genesis. So that's going to be another 4 parts. This is part 3. So I'll have a part all the way up to part 7, just for Genesis alone. Wow. But I wanted to not just show you, my things here. I wanted to show it in the Bible, and I wanted to show it in the dictionary too. It's going to be interesting because I got one more. I'm curious. I want to see, because I got one more that says it doesn't exist in the dictionary. Hold on. Okay, we'll do one more. Stripped. Genesis 37:23. And that said it doesn't appear in the dictionary. So stripped, which is like, I would think like stripping, stripped, strip, STRIPPED, that form of that. So, let's go here first. It's been changed. And it came to pass, when Joseph was come unto his brethren, that they stripped. Wow. So there's an actual change where it changed out of there. Because if you look in here, it doesn't really exist in dictionaries. I got a free dictionary, but none of the big dictionaries. Collins. Oh, here's an Oxford. Let's look at Oxford real fast. Sorry, this is a little bit longer than usual. Oh my goodness, look at the occurrences. 0.01 occurrences per million. Earliest known use is 1880s. So that would tell you right there that it couldn't possibly be even in the King James version of the Bible, because it was 1611. Wow, 1881. Ooh, remember that year? That was a big year for a lot of history. Wow, look at it. It says only evidence for stripped is from 1881. Interesting. But now it doesn't exist. I wrote all this stuff down. That's why I wrote it down. Yeah, I know. Look at the next one. Butler. You guys all wait for the next one for that one. All right, because I don't want to make these too long. But I'll be darned. Stripped is now the way it should be, instead of with a T. All right, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for parts 4, 5, 6, and 7 of Genesis Bible Changes coming at you. God bless.